guys, this is Simón Kistenfeger. Welcome to the Altos Welfare Talk.
Welcome everyone for another episode of the Tahona Society Welfare Talks. My name is Simón Kistenfeger. I am your global brand ambassador for Altos Tequila. And today I'm honored to have a very special guest with me, no other than the one and only Kelsey Ramage. For the ones who don't know her, shame on you. But seriously, Kelsey is one of the boss ladies in our industry, as I would call her. And you have been crowned International Bartender of the Year, which is hands down massive. You have been also one of the finalists, 2019, if I'm not mistaken, of the Entrepreneur Awards. And you are in the Drinks International list of the top 100 industry persons. You are one of the team members who helped Dandelion back in the days climb up super high, like winning several awards. And the list could go on. And I know the future will be also. I'm really thankful to have you here today with us. Kelsey, since I met you, you have been always a leader when it came to sustainability. You are the co-founder of the Trash Tiki Collective, which is a milestone for our industry. And you showed lots of bartenders how to use ingredients which would have been tossed away. I remodeled myself a couple of your amazing recipes, and I gotta say, I'm really, really thankful from the bottom of my heart for this amazing platform. And you are also a global sustainability ambassador for Pernod Ricard, like in connection, I think, with their roadmap 2030, if I'm not mistaken. So truly hats off for all your achievements so far.
Thank you. What an introduction.
Yeah, I mean, it is how it is, right? Thank you so much for being with us today. And also for everyone watching this today, make sure to follow Kelsey on her Instagram, on her other social media, and of course the Dolly Trolley, which we will also might talk a little bit about. I really love and admire your brutal honesty. And I'm really incredibly happy to have you here today in the show and talk about some mindful stuff.
It is absolutely my pleasure. I'm really excited to be here, and obviously Altos is very dear to my heart, as are all of the Altos family, including yourself. So I am so excited.
I think the last time I saw you was super randomly, if I remember correctly, when I walked into a bar in Santiago de Chile, and suddenly I saw you on the bar counter. You remember? So the world is super small, the bar world especially.
Yeah, that was crazy. I think we were on like a 2-day stopover for the cocktail festival there, and you just happened to be at the bar. That was so crazy.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of things happened in between. So yeah, tell us a little bit about what's happening with you in this crazy situation. Like, what have your last projects been? I know for a fact it's not easy. Like, my event company and my bar is like we fighting to make it through. So yeah.
I mean, I think it's been a fight. It's been a fight for everyone, of course. We had to shut Supernova. It was located in the financial district, which obviously no one's going back to work anytime soon, nor will I think they ever go back to work in that kind of an environment in an office spaces again. So we made the decision to shut that. And I think it was a good decision. I think we made it at the right time. It was very early on in the pandemic. So we're keeping the brand alive. And we're just kind of holding and waiting until, things are safe and it's ready to reopen. But in the meantime, I've had to figure out how to make some money. And also how to keep like the cocktail culture here in Toronto alive. And that was through Dolly Trolley drinks. And I think we were probably one of the first to launch to-go cocktails here in Toronto. But there are a few other ones that have launched around fall this year as well that are really, really good. And also like just keeping drinks in people's hands, which I think is really important. Nice. We've been doing to-go cocktail kits. We did a full rebrand in January because we were allowed. The laws here changed so that we could batch in alcohol, because before we had to sell the full bottle of alcohol in a mixer on the side, which didn't really work. It's like obviously not the best, because also people can just go buy the alcohol from the LCBO.
Right. So you have to be super creative all the time, like, and I really love that you guys are not giving up, because it's so hard. It's not our fault what's happening, and I mean, we could start like a full episode on the government now, but yeah.
Oh, I know. Let's not go there.
Too deep in this, bullshit assistance or whatever. I don't want to talk about that. But what we both have in common is that we both have been part of the Tahona Collective Spirit competition by Altos, and you actually got crowned as the global winner. And you also have been back judging the competition. And I think it was a milestone for both of us when it came to the careers. And
for sure,
can you be so kind to give us like your honest opinion on your experience you had with the Tahona Society?
Yeah, well, I think it like the Tahona Society has changed quite a lot since 2016. It was such a. I remember when I went to like create a drink to get into the final, and my peers at the time, which was at Dandelion, they were all like, this is a really great like entry level, competition. You should just go do it and see what happens. It's good practice. And then all of a sudden I was in the final, and it was crazy. Oops. So yeah, and like, I mean, I know that you know this, but as soon as like you're down there and like you can feel the energy, and like the Altos family just kind of brings you in. It was a pivotal time, I think, in both of our careers, where it was just like, we're bartending and like trying to learn and trying to launch our own stuff and things like that. So then Altos kind of like saw that in us and kind of scooped us up, and then the 4 years since then have just been like a complete whirlwind, but it just kind of, it stays with you, right? That feeling, you kind of always want to go back to. I mean, you're there right now for obvious reasons, but you always want to go back to that, right? Like, it's just this like exciting feeling, and they've kept that, even though the competition itself has changed from like a cocktail competition to more of like,
more encouraging bartenders to be more socially and environmentally sustainable. So just for everyone out there, like the winners of the competitions, they can develop their own projects to push the industry like into a bit more sustainable direction. Yeah. So at the time we competed, we had to do drinks, and now it's like a complete new style of competition, which is, in my opinion, amazing and the right way to go.
Yeah, I think it's been pivotal for our industry.
Definitely. Yeah, like everyone out there, like make sure to check also our new homepage. There's all things around the competition and also about the platform. Actually, I've just seen you or your face in the digital summit when we have been at the distillery. There were the welfare series, and you had like an article about yoga. Actually, yeah. So actually, you will love the distillery now. The rooms at the distillery are ready, and it's amazing. So we can't wait to host you again.
I know. Megs Miller sent me like videos and photos when you guys were all in there having a tour, and I was like super jealous. It looks stunning in there compared to what it was.
Amazing, yeah. Like and it's just the beginning. Like it's an ongoing process. And to talk a little bit more, Altos is one of the leading brands in building like partnerships with bartenders for sustainable bartending. And Pernod Ricard actually got inspired by the Tahona Society Collective Spirit and by the green hustle of Absolute Vodka. And they started a global bar course called the Bar World of Tomorrow, where you, my dear, you are involved in it. And can you explain us a little bit more what it is or what it will be about? And
so Pernod Ricard set out this goal of training 10,000 bartenders on sustainable practices by 2030. So we needed to come up with a way of doing that. And so basically during this entire pandemic, I worked very closely with one of the spearheads of the sustainability side of Pernod Ricard knowing me, and Louisa from the Sustainable Restaurants Association. And we basically came up with not just talking about ingredients, but talking about energy usage and water usage and, using local farms and purveyors and really like it's more all encompassing than just talking about ingredients, which is what Trash Collective's platform has been thus far. It really goes into kind of every single aspect from, human sustainability and staff retention and mental health to, energy usage, light bulbs, ice management, that kind of stuff. So it will be step by step, and it's definitely like not you don't expect bars to like be able to take on all of these things in one go, but it is a really good basis of education for sustainability upon which bartenders and bar owners and managers can build their own sort of platforms for sustainability within their own bars. Nice. So hopefully we see some people taking tidbits of information away from there to be able to use.
Is it like, so you mentioned it, it's like for bartenders, for bar manager, also maybe guys out of the industry, or is it like specifically
it's pretty bartender focused? Mm-hmm. I mean, people outside of the industry could take it. I think it's free for anyone. Which is pretty awesome. And you can also deploy it to all of your staff as well. So it's not just for like owners management. There is a lot of information in there for bartenders and even servers and everybody. So yeah, but it is fairly like industry focused for sure.
I really believe that is like the way to go in the future. Like, yeah, at the moment, lots of bartenders are out of work and you need to keep going, educate. And yeah, also like digital, like as we spoke or before about like that is the new way to go. Like home office, it's
I know. I know. I haven't even left my house today.
Me neither. But yeah, it's true. Like, so basically, the whole platform is a free educational platform, and you have like different pillars or like on.
Yeah. So I think it goes into everything from like ingredients, and then looking at local produce and farming and agriculture, how to source. It goes into distilleries and energy usage in distilleries and how to choose brands. It goes into like staff management and how to keep, mental health and a detachment from the workplace. Cause I think as bartenders, we are used to working quite long hours, and we're used to that like almost kitchen-esque military sort of mentality that we want to start moving away from, and making sure that people are like taking care of themselves, because those shifts can be quite long. And we need to make sure that we're healthy and able to keep up. And then it goes into like a little bit of like energy usage, ice usage and stuff like that. So it is really like, there's quite a few pillars included. There's quite a lot of information there.
Yeah, I can imagine it's a lot of work, like to have all the thoughts into it, but amazing. It's really an amazing project, and I think you're absolutely the right person to push it. Are there any other bartenders involved, or how is the?
Not yet. There were a few bartenders that we got to help us communicate the different languages that's available in. So it's available in 6 different languages other than English. So we got bartenders from kind of all over the world to do a little like video in each of their languages. So there's 6 different languages plus English that it's available in. Super
cool, really. Yeah, like more and more brands are switching to these sustainable practices, and definitely you are one of the leaders who show us how essential it is. And yeah, I mean, in the name of the whole industry, I really salute you for that. And you actually made it look cool to fight for our planet. Where is actually the drive to help others come from, or the nature? Like,
I think You know what? I think it was from a very early age. I lived in a small town when I was a kid. Kind of grew up in a place where, you know, we were right on a lake. We were like at the base of a mountain. It was a really beautiful place to grow up, although very small. it yeah. So it, like, you know, you just recycled as a part of daily life. There was a recycling plant in the town. You know, we always had this as a part of our daily life. And then kind of, you know, moving to London and Toronto when I was young, it was like when I was like, you know, in my early 20s and then late 20s, it was like, oh, this doesn't exist everywhere. I didn't know. Right. You know, you're kind of like the shock value of seeing, you know, how poorly executed some of the recycling programs in larger cities are, and, you know, how, you know, compost programs are basically non-existent inside, you know, places that just don't have the capacity to deal with the populations that exist in those cities. So it was quite clear that on a personal level, you can recycle and you can, you know, compost. But once it gets to a business level where the waste is exponentially more and the potential for damage is exponentially more, it became pretty clear that we needed to do something, and also not do it in the same way that it had been like taught to us when I was young, because it was friggin' boring. It was like, right. Yeah, you know, clean out your milk jugs, and like I was like, how do you make that cool? So I think it had to be something creatively that was interesting to people, you know, or else people don't listen.
Totally. I just watched like the documentary Seaspiracy, and it was shocking for me. Like, once again, like, yeah, I'm thinking about like, or I will once I return. Like at the moment I'm in Mexico, but as soon as I'm returning, I think I will go back to a partially vegan diet, because it was so shocking again. And we tend to forget all these things which happen, and it's going to be like, it's not that worse if I do it, but it is actually. We have all an impact, and I really think it's amazing. I think your bar Supernova was built around that concept as well, of local ingredients and reducing wastage. I mean, I'm sad I had never the chance to visit you, but I mean, I think everything happens for a reason, and I know you will keep going and you can come back stronger with more phenomenal projects.
Sure we'll keep it going. We're planning on reopening sometime when it's safe enough again, and nice. It'll have, I mean, any bar that I open, whether it's Supernova or something else, which I've got a couple of fun projects in the works, they'll always have that ethos. I think it's really, I mean, you were very like seriously vegan for quite some time, so it's just, you know, you might stray away from it a little bit, but you always know that those principles are there to Definitely. Come back to, right?
I also read like about the idea of you guys of the super experimental pop-ups, I think, which I really loved, like the idea. But I think now that you guys are in super lockdown, if I'm not
yeah, I know pop-ups happen up here.
Yeah.
It's in full lockdown right now, and Canada's also been pretty slow at rolling out the vaccine. So we are
like Germany is like kind of I'm really totally to that. What you?
I think there's a lot of countries that are struggling with it, but I think once things do start rolling, we've got something planned for October that I can't talk about just yet, but it's going to be really fun. It's going to be like, yeah, I'm really, really excited. Very Halloween-y, very goth, very like metal.
It's going to be amazing. I know. Also, do you think that the pandemic situation will give us a little bit more empathy, you know? I mean, maybe getting also away from this pressure, the society, which in the industry we have, like, you know, you have to be the last man standing, who wins the next competition, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think we will,
I think it's given our industry like a full, like, hold on, like, we're doing this wrong. You know what I mean? Like, we're overworking people. We've seen that, like, you know, BIPOC, people of color, have been infinitely more affected by COVID-19. We've seen inequitable pay structures within our industry. There is this chef's mentality kind of like, exactly like you said, this last man standing, this like, we work so hard until we're absolutely exhausted. Like all of these things, while they're not related to one another, are all very, very much problems in our industry that COVID has highlighted. And now that we have time, because we're not doing shift work, and overworking ourselves, we have time to actually like look at these problems, and before we reopen, fix them. Hopefully. It has for me. I know it has for a lot of my friends in the United States that I've been talking to. It's really like given people pause and time to figure out how to fix these structures before we start reopening and falling back into those same things that we were doing before. So fingers crossed we change some of that stuff. But I know personally, before I go to reopen anything, I'll be rethinking how I do it for sure.
Totally. No, I really love that you also addressed in your ceremony speech, like that you called out for addressing double standard in our industry, which is super, super important. And
I was really lucky, I had money and time to be able to move to London to work under some of the best people in the industry in the world. Not everybody has that freedom. So I think we need to recognize that. And we also need to do some work to be able to fix those standards.
And totally. And I believe it's 100%. It's possible to fix these kind of issues. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned like you grew up in a small town. My bar is in a small town, it's a touristic city, but at the moment there are no tourists, but still I'm able to have like a refugee from Iran. I have a Japanese in my team. I have like an Uruguayan. I have like 9 out of 10 are like with an immigrant background. And I mean, if it's possible in a small city, there's no excuse, in my opinion, like to not make such a thing happen. Also, like it's possible we have like even more female staff than male staff, and it is possible. There's no excuses for this. So definitely, I love when you pointed that out. Like, so where are you right now? Like, I have a question also for you, which I always dreamed of living in Canada. What would you recommend me, Vancouver or Toronto? Like,
oh man, I've been struggling with this one lately. That is a really good question. I think I remember you talking about this when we were, I don't know, somewhere. Yeah. You said you wanted to move up here. And the reason I moved to Toronto was that it's such a vibrant food city. And it has had really good food and really good chefs for a very long time. And it's also got a huge music scene here.
Nice.
So that's why I moved here. Both of those things are shut down right now. Right. And they're really struggling. We've seen like a lot of live music venues shut in Toronto. Some restaurants have shut, but thankfully a lot of them have been able to stay open, and a few have opened up. So I think that part of our industry is still pretty strong. But Vancouver's amazing. It's still got really good food. It's got like an amazing food city. It's an amazing wine city. But it's like, you can be in the ocean and then be on a mountain, like within a 30-minute drive from your front door.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like you're lucky because a lot of guys don't have that opportunities. I know it. As you mentioned, moving to London and suddenly you're like, oh, not everything is.
Yeah, everything's not green here. It was a shock.
It must have been a shock. No, shock. What do you think is going to be like the future? Is it anytime soon that like the Canadian government, I'm not sure about the German neither, when they get the vaccine program started, how will the future look like? Bars? I think we're not going to get back fully to what we are used to.
It's going to be a really long time. I honestly, I look at the fact that I shut my bar early on, and I am so thankful because we're still, we're just on outdoor dining as of last week. And
right.
I don't think we're going to fully recover this year. Like, I don't think.
No, me neither. Like in the first month, I thought, okay, it's nice. As you mentioned, you take your time, you get more mindful. But after a while, I can say I really miss the emotional parts. Like we are delivering emotions, and my soul cries for that. Like that plays the third connection point, or how should I say? Yeah, it's really
totally.
tough.
And I feel like a year in, we're all just like, okay, it's enough. I miss being around people. You miss that, like, even just being able to quality check a drink, sending it out in a bottle and not hearing anything. You're like, I don't know, was it good? Do you guys like it? Does it suck? Like, I want to know.
Yeah. For me, it's super refreshing to be like in Mexico, where you're allowed to have the bars and the restaurants open, of course, with this certain rules, and it is possible, but it was super refreshing. And then I realized really how much my soul needed it. And also the help of the government, as I mentioned on the beginning, and I don't want to get it proper started, but it's really an issue for a lot of bars, the bar owners. Like I can rely on that. In Germany, it's really, really tough. And we are in a very fortunate situation that we have a lot of guests, and we focused always on the locals as well. But a lot of, like, I'm from a touristic town, and a lot of restaurants already closing. And they say, hey, there's no more tourists coming. What can we do? And it's really, really tough.
Yeah. It for sure is. I mean, we've been pretty lucky. We've had a lot of government help for restaurants here, but like they needed it. You know what I mean? So
totally.
We'll see. We'll keep like hoping and wishing for them. Yeah.
Right. No, but even more, I'm really thankful, and that you started like a program like the Bar World of Tomorrow, like, which is so important for our future and for addressing the certain topics. Really, I mean, you already left your legacy, like I can say that, and your content is always super upright. And I think that the entire hospitality industry benefits from it. I really say keep going, keep rocking in the free world. And I cannot wait to have a toast with you anytime soon in a bar, hopefully. Or in any bar. I will randomly meet you, because it's possible. It happened to me actually in Mexico City as well. I run in a friend like Diego, a friend who we know, randomly on the street, and it happened with another guy as well. So it is possible. The world is small, and I think I attract always like these random things. So I really can't wait. And I send a big hug to you. I'm really thankful that you shared this super interesting information with us today. Definitely you made our day with this, and in the industry, you are a true legend already. And is there anything else you want to add?
Thank you so much. And like, I think that it's just that you spoke about like meeting people on the street and people that but I think it's just that energy that you give out. You're just like warm and welcoming, and you really hold that, like, Altos family kind of shit with you, which is so amazing. It is
like, I mean, that's what I love about the brand as well. From the first moment, as you mentioned, like you come to the competition, and it's somehow, of course, it is a competition, but still you feel like all the warmth, and you connect with guys, and they're like, hey, easy, it's not, don't focus too much, because then you won't win if you're not spreading.
Totally. Like you have to have fun and you have to engage. You can't be too serious with it. And I think that's with anything that you start, like your own business or a bar or anything like that. Like if you're not having fun, then you can't be doing it. It's totally. I think that like we all just need
for me, it was also an easy decision. I mean, I always said, I will not work with a brand. Like, I want to be free. But when Altos approached me, I was like, okay, this is like maybe the only brand I could work with in that scale. And I was like, okay, let me think about it. And in the end, it was not like a hard decision to do, because all the family, like from Dre Masso, to all the other guys, and it's real, and this is what I really love. I mean, we met through the Tahona Society competition, and I love that everyone is like still in contact. You meet each other, and that's the way to go, in my opinion.
It is, definitely. Congrats.
I can't wait until we have the next Altos.
Big time.
So, Kelsey, muchísimas gracias, señorita maravillosa. Really enjoyed this talk today, and I can't wait. Maybe one more thing you can add. How can we access the Bar World of Tomorrow? Is it like an app, or is it going to be?
Yeah, it is. It is an app, but you can also go to, I think it's barworldoftomorrow.com. I know I just Googled it before we got on this call, and it's the first thing that comes up. And then there's a link to click on. I can share this with you after our chat, so that you can put it up on the screen or whatever. I'll send you the link, and it's just super easy. It's just straight on a web browser. Like, you don't even have to download anything. It's just
so basically I can already access some of the courses, or amazing. Cool. I'm gonna go straight into that after this session. Cool. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and again, like, really thank you for taking your precious time. I know you're a rock star, you always have projects. No, you're taking it easy.
I always have time for you. It's all good.
Thank you so much. So
Thank you.